The 2025 Canadian federal election was one for the history books. The global landscape had shifted dramatically in recent years, and Canadians were feeling uncertain about the future. The economy was sluggish, the cost of living was skyrocketing, and relations with our neighbors to the south had never been more strained. The choices Canadians made in this election would have a profound impact on the country's direction for years to come. This wasn't just about picking a prime minister. It was about deciding what kind of country we wanted Canada to be. Would we double down on our commitment to social justice and environmental protection? Or would we prioritize economic growth at all costs? Would we continue to be a welcoming and inclusive society? Or would we turn inward and embrace a more isolationist stance? These were the questions weighing heavily on the minds of Canadians as they headed to the polls. Three main parties dominated the political landscape: the Liberals, the Conservatives, and the NDP. Each party offered a distinct vision for Canada, and each was led by a charismatic and experienced politician. Mark Carney, the former governor of the Bank of England, had returned to Canada to lead the Liberal Party. Carney was seen as a steady hand, a pragmatist with a deep understanding of the global economy. His calm demeanor and reputation for competence appealed to Canadians who were looking for stability and reassurance in uncertain times. The Conservative Party, led by the fiery Pierre Poilievre, offered a starkly different vision for Canada. Poilievre tapped into a growing sense of frustration and anger among Canadians who felt left behind by the current system. He promised tax cuts, deregulation, and a return to traditional values. His supporters saw him as a bold and decisive leader who would shake things up and put Canada first. Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, campaigned on a platform of social justice and economic equality. He promised to increase taxes on the wealthy, invest in affordable housing and healthcare, and take bold action to combat climate change. Singh's supporters were drawn to his message of hope and his vision for a fairer and more equitable Canada. Justin Trudeau, the Liberal Prime Minister since 2015, had announced his resignation earlier in the year, citing exhaustion and a desire to spend more time with his family. Trudeau's departure left a significant void in Canadian politics, and the Liberal Party scrambled to find a suitable replacement. Enter Mark Carney. Carney's decision to enter politics was seen as a major coup for the Liberals. He brought with him an impressive resume and a global reputation. Carney's experience navigating the complexities of the global financial system during his time at the Bank of England gave him instant credibility on economic matters. Moreover, his calm and measured demeanor provided a stark contrast to the often divisive rhetoric of his opponents. Carney quickly emerged as the front-runner in the race to become the next Prime Minister of Canada. Pierre Poilievre ran a highly polarized campaign. He railed against the so-called elites and promised to, take back Canada for ordinary people. Poilievre's message really resonated with some voters, especially those who felt left behind by the changing economy and, the perceived excesses of the Trudeau years. However, his often divisive rhetoric ended up alienating a lot of moderate voters, who saw him as just too extreme and maybe a bit too willing to exploit social divisions for political gain. In a stunning upset, Poilievre lost his own seat in the House of Commons. The defeat was a crushing blow to both Poilievre and the Conservative Party. It really exposed the limits of Poilievre's brand of populism and raised some serious questions about the future direction of the Conservative Party. The Conservatives, once a dominant force in Canadian politics, were now at a crossroads. Jagmeet Singh and the NDP entered the election hoping to build on their recent successes. The NDP had played a pivotal role in the previous minority government, using their leverage to secure concessions from the Liberals on key issues such as pharmacare and affordable housing. However, Singh struggled to break through in the polls. Despite running a positive and energetic campaign, Singh was unable to convince enough Canadians that the NDP was a viable alternative to the Liberals or the Conservatives. The NDP's traditional base of support, working-class Canadians and social activists, seemed to have fractured. Many former NDP voters were drawn to the Liberals' promise of stability under Carney, while others were just disillusioned by what they saw as the NDP's failure to achieve meaningful change. Election night brought a mix of surprises and confirmations. The Liberals, led by Mark Carney, won a minority government, securing 169 seats in the House of Commons. The Conservatives, despite their leader's defeat, remained the official opposition, winning 148 seats. The NDP suffered a major setback, losing official party status after winning only 14 seats. Jagmeet Singh announced his resignation as NDP leader shortly after the election results were announced. The election results revealed a deeply divided country. The Liberals dominated in Ontario and Quebec, Canada's two most populous provinces. The Conservatives, on the other hand, swept Alberta and performed well in Saskatchewan and parts of British Columbia. The regional divide really reflected the deep-seated economic and social anxieties that had come to define Canadian politics. Mark Carney's victory marked the beginning of a new era in Canadian politics. Carney's first task as Prime Minister was to form a government and begin to address the many challenges facing the country. High on his agenda were repairing Canada's strained relationship with the United States, tackling the rising cost of living, and restoring Canadians' faith in their government. Carney's victory was seen by many as a sign that Canadians were looking for experienced and steady leadership in uncertain times. His victory speech struck a tone of unity and purpose, calling on Canadians to come together and build a better future for all. Only time would tell whether Carney would be able to live up to the high expectations placed upon him.